It's exactly 2 months to election 2024. This is a platform that has been giving you all the data you need to understand and have a fair projection of what election 2024 would look like. It is the place to be for everything election in 2024. And of course, we've been doing the analysis for you since last year, and we are continuing on to the December 7 mark. This is a Situation Room. My name is Umaru Sandamado, and this is ChannelOne Television. And I'm doing this with my co-anchor, Bernard Kokwavle. Bernard, how are you?
It's good to be here, Sandra.
2 months. We've been counting down. It's almost
The situation is becoming critical.
And yeah, the Situation Room even. And this is the Situation Room. It's not for any reason we gave it that name. It is where all the analysis will be happening, so you understand. And we are going to also show you a lot of data, and it's going to be very friendly for you to understand. We're going to show you the map of Ghana, how it looks like nationally, the very community you live and vote in, how the voting pattern has been in the last 8 years, last 12 years, and what the pattern would mean to election 2024. So that is one of the analysis and other analysis that I'll be doing for you here. We'll be right back to introduce the show. So this is a Situation Room, ChannelOne Television. Bernard, data is very important for everything we do, more so for elections. Why did we have to, and of course, maybe I would have answered my question already, but say, emphasize for us how much of input we put data into our work as we proceed?
Well, son, I think, you know, the election really is about numbers, and we want to tell a story. Journalism is about storytelling. So what we've done is that we are letting the numbers tell their own story. That's basically what we are doing. And if you want to tell a good story, you need a map to tell you. We can come and start doing 1 + 1 = 2 and those things, but that's really not conducive because at the core of journalism is storytelling. So what we've done with our team, and by the way, if you want to understand where you're going, you need to know where you're coming from. So trends are also critical. So essentially, we are using numbers to tell stories through maps, and we're also showing people trends, right? We've been voting in elections since 1992. We've had constituency changes from 200 to 230 to 275. So what we've tried to do is to get viewers and our users a sense of how our elections have behaved. Not necessarily to predict what will happen, but to understand how the changes take place, so that based on the changes we'll show you over the years, you can understand better when the numbers start coming in. So for example, if a particular constituency always gives a particular party 90% since the election started, if that constituency is giving them 60%,
why?
You know there's a problem.
Yeah.
So you don't need to, because the whole point about this work is understanding of what is happening. Right. So luckily, our data team and the journalists have put together a set of information that explains those phenomena.
So Bernard, we have 2 maps we're going to work with. There's a map on the left which we'll go to, but first I want us to just come to this map here, which is like the map of Ghana, which shows as a national poll. So if you look at this straight off, it's telling us what happened in election 2012 when John Mahama won the election nationally. Now, it looks a bit obvious, doesn't it? Green represents the NDC, blue represents the MPP. So you'll see a big green. I mean, if you divide the map, you'll see that green is very big, and there's also blue. But I see different shades of green. Can you explain that?
So what we've tried to do is to, you know, usually there are 2 ways of telling an election story. So you can look at the constituency that were won out of the 275 by each party. But it's the first unit of analysis is regional analysis, because even the political parties, when they campaign, they go region by region. So you notice John Mahama is in this region, Bawumia is here, Alan is here. The regional analysis is important. What we've done is to say, look, let's give viewers a snapshot of the performance of the parties in each region based on how well they did. So not just who won simplistically. So this map is telling you that if you see deep blue, MPP or the winner of that particular region won it by 60% or more.
Plus, okay.
So that means technically they are strong there.
Okay.
If it's a lighter shade, it means that they won it between 50 and 60%. They won it, but probably not that much, which also tells you that it's easier for that to change.
Okay.
So for this map is showing you 16 regions, 1 deep blue, 3 light blues, and I think about 4 deep greens. So what basically that's telling you is that in 2012, MPP's best performance was in Ashanti. NDC's best performance was in Volta, Oti, Upper East, and Western North.
Okay. Now there's the issue. There is, let me just say that we have 16 regions for this map, even though the 16 regions came in 2018.
Yes.
So we have decided to calculate which constituencies fall in the new region. So if you're looking at that, you may question yourself, okay, 2012, we didn't have 16 regions. Yes, that's true. But we've done the calculation. So we know how many constituencies are in OT. So that's why we can carve OT out and carve water out and carve northeast out of northern region. So this is a fair explanation of what's happening.
Very important. So what we know that there are, for example, about 25 or so constituencies in voter and OT together. But the constituencies that were in OT are known and they didn't change. So even though OT was created in 2018, the constituencies had their voting character.
Behavior.
That's what we are saying. And this also helps you get a clearer sense of the stronghold. So for example, NDC last week said they are doing 9/9 in Western North. Why are they doing 9/9? Of course, they want to win 9 parliamentary seats, also 9 presidential seats in the 9. It's because there were some changes in the region that shows that MPP clawed back. So if you just show a simplistic map of who won, you may not get. So let me show you, for example, this is 2012, right? This is the NDC's best performance since, if you want, the 1996 election. Because in the 2000 election, Kufuor won. Second round, he won even more. 2004, NDC didn't win, even though they closed the gap. 2008, NDC won, but only just. So 2012 is NDC's best. 2016 is MPP's best. 2020 is like in between the two. So to understand why a party will say, I want to go Operation
99.
99 is because now take note of the bold ones. The bold ones are 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 strongholds, 1 stronghold. And by the way, if you compare the party's strongholds, you notice that MPP doesn't need a lot of regions to win an election. This 1 stronghold, when you put these 4 strongholds in it, this one is still, let's experiment.
So the population, so what you're saying is that the population in Ashanti, before you can neutralize it, you need to swallow so many NDC strongholds. And even that is a difficult, that's what you're trying to say.
You see, if your stronghold is a big constituency, it means you win more than 60% in a big region, the gap in terms of raw votes is more than if the region is small. But if you have Greater Accra, which is now equally big as Ashanti, but it's not a stronghold because you don't win by that big margin. So what I'm saying is that having one region with 47 constituencies, with the number of voters it has, it's enough to neutralize a lot of regions because its size and its gap is big.
Show me that. Show me that. I'll be happy if you can show me. I don't know whether we should do it for 2012 or we should do it for 2016 when MPP won.
Okay, what I'll show you is, I'm going to show you how the region has changed. Hold on. Then when I finish, I'll show you what I just said. So let's go back to the national picture. So this is 2012. MPP wins, NDC wins the election, but they win 12 out of 16. No problem. Now come to 2016. It's a different picture. There are now 2 deep blues. Actually, they are Ashanti, Eastern, and Bono East. Then they also have 4 other blues: Northeast, Ahafo, Western, and Central. So now, MPP's 4 becomes 6. NDC's 12 becomes 8. Number 2, the strongholds of NDC were 4. In 2016, it's just 1, 2, 3. So the picture is not just a question of the 6 MPP won, but the fact that this deep green in 2012, because you have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now 2016, you have 1, 2, 3. So MPP managed to
neutralize,
reduce this. So the victory was in maintaining Ashanti as the stronghold, adding Bono, Central and Western, and then reducing NDC's emphasis here, and then adding this. So 2016 was MPP's best performance.
Talk to me about this strip up here. Which one?
So this is the
blue one.
Again, I think that changing the regions is useful because in the past you just said northern region, and you say, oh, NDC is strong in the northern region. But if you look at even the shades, let's go back to 2012. So in 2012, here are your shades. These are all light. And in fact, this, you see, these are light colors. Only this is deep. All right? Now, in 2016, what's going on? This was maintain its deepness. These are light. Now, this is blue. So they've added one more region. Okay, so MPP has now shown up in the northeast. and they've now extended their strength beyond the Ashanti Eastern Bono Enclave
to
to the two
coastal
constituencies. So NDC is maintaining these two, and this other. Now, before I get into the issue of the depth of Ashanti. Let's just look at 2020
before.
To see how this changes eventually. So in 2020, even though NDC closes the gap on MPP, the national picture doesn't really change much. Northeast is still MPP.
Blue.
They still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So the devil is in the detail
of Ashanti.
So even though the gap, and by the way, the gap is just 500,000.
In 2020?
Yes, in 2016.
It's 1 million.
The gap was 1 million. And of course, in 2012, the gap was 300,000 for NDC. But by the way, the electoral numbers are increasing. So 300,000 in 2012 is of a smaller size. So you look at the percentages to, so let me just explain what I'm saying. So see, in 2012, John Mahama had 300,000 votes more than Akufo-Addo. But he had, if you want, 50% to 47. So like a 3% gap.
Difference.
All right. Now look at what Akufo-Addo did in 2016. Unprecedented. He got almost 54%, 44%. Almost a 10% gap.
From 3%.
From a 3% deficit to a 10%. So he basically had a net of 13%. It was like a landslide.
That's serious.
So in election, a 10% is a landslide.
Yes.
Now 2020, so again, the map doesn't tell you this because the map just tells you 6 regions. And when I come to 2020, you notice that the map doesn't change. But
the numbers reduce.
Now his margin in 2020 is 3.9. A bit more than what Mahama had over him in 20. So his 2020 performance is still better than NDC's best.
2012.
So sometimes when people say MPP's confidence is not founded on the, they seem to have a natural advantage in terms of the size of their strongholds. So you don't measure elections by how many regions you win.
Look at the numbers.
You measure
the raw
elections
data.
by the turnout in your strongholds and then how it neutralizes other strongholds. I hope I'm making sense.
You've made a lot of sense. So on the face value, you would say, oh, MPP has, I mean, there are more greens, but
Yes.
what are the numbers in these greens? That's what you have to, because if you look at just the map the way it is, the population is actually
But I think
here,
the better thing I can do, even this is not even enough. I can go somewhere else and show you the constituencies that contributed to those changes. Because again, the first unit of analysis is regions. So we had 4 regions to 12.
Yeah.
We had 6 to 8, and we have 6 to 8. But when you come to the constituency 275 for the national picture, it tells you the place. Because, for example, you notice that only this is blue, but the sprinkle of blue here is going up. So generally, the more northeast you move, the bluer it becomes. Do you get it? And the closer you get to the southeast, the greener it becomes. There's all those interesting nuances. So if you want to understand Ghana's election, regions just one unit. The constituency gives you a second angle. I don't know if this is...
I'm getting
this
I'm
makes
getting.
sense.
So show me, in fact, before you go to constituency, I just wanted to look at the significance of Ashanti. If you can show me...
I can show you that
yes.
here.
So show me the population Ashanti has and what winning Ashanti means.
So I'll go back to 2012 here so that when I go there, it will make sense. So let's go back to 2012. When NDC did very well and MPP just had 4 regions, but still just had a 3% deficit. Ashanti was the only stronghold for MPP. NDC had 1, 2, 3, 4 strongholds. I'm going to explain that to you.
Please do. If you could just...
All right.
You actually can. You can. Just walk, just walk up. Yes, walk up. This is the situation room. So Bernard is helping us with. So we're juggling between 2 maps here. We look at the national map.
Let's go to the 2012 picture. So this is the first issue. When you use a constituency-based map, it gives you a better nuance.
So what we showed here was regions, 16.
So this is summary.
But this is 275.
Yes. So this is what is behind you is a summary of the situation on a regional basis. This is the details. This is the details.
Constituency by constituency.
Good. So now you notice that what makes, because there are regions that are painted green that have blues in it.
Yeah.
And there are regions that are painted blue that have greens in it.
them.
So this is the second unit of analysis, which is now saying, look, when you take the map of Ghana, MPP is generally strong in the Ashanti Eastern Bono Enclave, but now increasingly getting stronger in the Northeast Enclave.
So 2012, the blues up there were small.
So you can count them. 2012, you had 1, 2, 3. And from off the top of my head, you can say this is, I'm trying to get the name for you.
Do you have that?
I'll get the name of the constituency. But this looks like Yagaba Kubori, and this looks like Wali Wali. Yes, this is Wali Wali.
Yeah, so that's Yagaba Kubori.
This is Yagaba Kubori. And then this will be Chereponi. So in 2012, NPP won 3 constituencies in the
northern zone.
In the Northeast region,
Yeah.
they won 3. And then they won 4 others in the Northern region. All right. So the Northeast has 6 constituencies.
Yeah.
They are NDC won 3, MPP won 3. But in 2012, when you put the numbers together, it was still light green. It was not blue yet.
It didn't flip.
You follow me? So even in 2012, they had already won, because don't forget that 2012 was the second attempt using Dr. Bawumia.
Yeah.
So now you have, in the north itself, a few more blues. So think about this. If you click on this, what's the name of this constituency? Tolon. Tolon went to MPP. As did Bimbila, Dominic Nitu's constituency, as did Yendi, where Farouk is now, and then Zabzugu. So again, north is light green. The reason it's not deep green is that MPP managed to pick 4 of the constituencies. So you have 4 plus 3.
7.
So 7, of course, if you add the 18 in the north plus the 6, it's not that much. Yet, this is the general picture. Okay? So if you now want to get into the details as to what is changing over the years. So this is 2012, right? Let's get into level 2 analysis. Let's go to 2016. Again, this is NDC's best.
For constituencies.
And I'm talking of NDC's best since 96. Let's come to MPP's best. MPP's best in terms of a national election is 2016. 2000 second round was massive, but because there were only 2 parties on the ticket, it's more useful to use when all the first round. So MPP's best in the first round has been, of course, NDC's best prior to this was Rawlings in 92, who had close to 60, and then 96 as well. But since the year 2000, NDC's best has been 2012. MPP's best of all time is 2016. Good. Now let's take a look at this carefully. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blues
for 2012.
2012. A lot of blues here, many greens. Let's see what 2016 did to the electoral map of Ghana. Now you can count it yourself.
The blue has increased.
Even if you don't count, you can tell that it's even straight into Upper West.
Yes, which I was going to say. So I can see Sisala East and West. In fact, Sisala East and West have been captured in the Upper West.
So let's start. You had, and again, the 6 in the Northeast
have become 4
now. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still, they get only 2. But what's happening is that neighboring constituencies in the north
are going blue.
Are also becoming blue. 2 in Upper West, including blue. Take note, Upper East never changes. Upper East is still green throughout. Then there are some blue enclaves coming here.
In the sea,
so,
in the coast.
Which is why when you went there and your regional breakdown, that 4 became 6. It became 6 because this southwestern coast, these guys, this is Elembele. For the Kwame Nkrumah's Jomoro. Jomoro is in your left. Jomoro is blue. A whole raft of western constituencies in Poho, Kwesimintim, all
the central Takrady area
becoming blue. Look at what's going on here, right? You have Sisala East. MPP. Wa East MPP. It's almost unheard of, right? Then you have, of course, the other 2. Wale still MPP. But Yagaba Pugori go back to NDC.
Has gone back to NDC.
They keep Nalerigu Gambaga. It's also now.
It's gone back NDC, but it became blue.
No, Nalerigu Gambaga, good. Now let's look at the new kids on the block for MPP in 2016. Initially it was Tolon. I don't know if Tolon maintains it. Tolon still remains blue. Good. But here are the new kids on the block. You
have
have
that's Bimbila. It's been
Bimbila is still there.
Yeah.
Okay, but
Below
Bimbila's
Bimbila,
neighbor.
Woolensi. So Woolensi moves from NDC to MPP.
Yeah, Woolensi moves from NDC to MPP. Forgive me. Then you have now
Zabzugu
still goes.
Still blue.
Then you have Yendi still blue. Saboba joins. So in the north now you have 1, 2, 3, 4. So if you come to the north, 1, 2, 3, 4. Just give me a second. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in the north.
Yeah.
7 actually.
Yeah.
7 plus 2 in northeast. So that makes it 9. 10, 11. So the original 7
became 11.
Becomes 11.
4 more.
4 more in addition. So there are nuances, but generally you can tell that the more closer you move to the northeast, the bluer it becomes. But upper east doesn't change.
The upper east remains, which is even closer.
And by the way, this is all presidential because there are also parliamentary issues. So MPP is sort of building some strength the closer you get into the northeast enclave. All right. Now, 2012 was the year NDC sort of clawed back. Let's see how this looks on a national scale. 2020, forgive me. So 2020. Interestingly, it's actually getting denser. So the greens have removed some of the blues in here, but the blues here are still pretty solid.
Deeper.
Okay, so let's go through this again.
But
we had 7.
Upper West has fallen back completely.
So we had 7 without the Upper West. So if I added, we had 7, 11. 7 in 2012. 11 in 2016. If you add the Upper West, that makes it 13. Now NDC has taken back Upper West and Upper East. But the northeast enclave is still very blue. So let's take it one by one. You can tell that this is still Wale Wale.
Wale Wale is there. Tolon is there.
No, sorry, this is Wale Wale. Wale Wale is still...
then Yagaba Kubori.
Yagaba is still there.
Yeah.
And of course...
Cherponi.
So
Saboba has gone back to NDC.
Yes. So there are a lot of nuances there. But now in your north itself, what's going on here? Gushewu, the MP is the transport minister.
Yes,
Deputy Transport Minister. Gushewu, MPP. Karaga, Finance Minister. MPP. Mion,
MPP.
which for a long time was NDC.
Yes.
MPP won presidential. Yendi maintains it, but now it takes the 2. And by the way, these constituencies are neighbors.
So Tatali
Sanguli goes to MPP.
Zabzugu, it used to be Zabzugu Tatali, now Zabzugu and then Tatali Sanguli.
Zabzugu remains with MPP. And then you have Bimbila as well. And then look at this. Tolon has come back.
Going back to blue.
All right. So if you count the northern region, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. About 19 constituencies. It's like 50-50 split. Because NDC takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. MPP takes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So presidential-wise, there's the northern region, of course, is split. And I can show you that here.
Before you show me that, I want to take a break. This is a Situation Room on ChannelOne television. My name is Omar Sandawa, and I'm here with Bernard Kokwavle. We're trying to give you what the data looks like historically so that you can make sense of what our elections or election pattern has been in the past. And that would help you as you dive and analyze the upcoming election, which is actually exactly 2 months from today. It's December 7, 2024. That's when we are voting. Today is October 7, 2024. Stay with us. More coming your way. You're welcome back. This is ChannelOne Television. This show is called The Situation Room. My name is Umaru Sandamad, and I'm here with Bernard Kokwavle. We're counting down to election 2024. It's exactly 2 months away. We've shown you a map here on my right-hand side where we've told you what the national picture looked like from 2012 all the way to 2016. You've seen that. We have also decided to go behind the regions. So the regions are one thing. So if you look at this, and this is 2012, but let me just show you 2020. So we have 2020. This is what currently pertains as when we went to the election in December 2020. Blue in the middle, 4 blues, and then almost all green.
But sorry, let's change it.
But
you have not activated the 2020. Forgive me.
Okay, good.
So I came to so this is 2020.
So 2020 we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. On the face of it, you would say MPP won 7 regions NDC has the rest. But what are the figures behind these regions, or what are the hard, solid numbers? And that's what Bernard is showing us. So Bernard, we can go back. Okay. We are lifting the constituencies out of these regions to show you why some the shade is becoming lighter and why some have deep shades. Volta OT, very deep green for NDC. Upper is very deep green for NDC again. Ashanti, very deep for blue MPP. Blue. Western, same. What's happening in Western North? Why did the shade in Northern region change? Because if you look at even the parliamentary election, is neck and neck. Now, what are the numbers looking like behind the regions? That's what we're doing. So we are lifting constituency by constituency and showing you what we have seen based on the figures. So Bernard, you can go back and show us. So 2020, this is what we have. And we are looking at how that has reflected in 2020 constituency election. Yeah. That's why you have a map that has so many blues and greens.
So what we have so far said is that, generally speaking, the MPP is strong in Ashanti, Eastern, and Bono. Of course, Bono is a nuance. There's Ahafo and then Bono East, and I'll show that. But they are getting stronger in the northeastern part of the country. And I just wanted to use this to make the point. So 2012, there are only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which are blue. You move to 2016, the number of blues is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. If you add this, 10, 11. Now, this is the MPP's best performance since record started. But when you come to 2020, which you can say NDC halved, they still do have a lot of work to do, because even though they took back Upper West, you have 11, now you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So even though they lost the upper,
they even got more.
They reclaimed, NDC reclaimed Upper West.
Yeah.
MPP got more generally in the north.
Yeah.
And this is presidential.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, this is important because later on, when we come to some region like Central, NDC has majority of the seats for parliament. But Akufo-Addo won all but 4 regions in Central. So the reason we are restricting today to presidential is that the presidential tells a different story about how people feel about the government. Then the parliamentary tells you how people feel about their local issues. So this is that's what we call the national outlook.
And this is important because, Bernard, in 2008, Atamils won with just some 50,000 votes. In 2020, Nana Akufo-Addo wins with over 500,000 votes. Yet, Parliament, he did not win as much. So that's why you're looking at where regions would go for the presidential and parliamentary, they decide to go for
But generally, parliamentary results are an indication of the national picture. Generally.
Yeah.
So
2020
was an anomaly because, but what you need to look at is that the deficit for NDC in 2016 was so much. Don't forget, in 2012, they had a 3% advantage over MPP. Then MPP swings that to a 10% advantage. So the net swing is about 13, right? So to get, essentially NDC got back half of the seats they lost, all right? But it wasn't enough to correct the presidential gap. So that was the situation there. I need to point out that some other places are also being a bit dynamic. So apart from the picture of the north, which is very obvious, there are 2 other things happening
at the coast.
At the coast and also in the middle, which also tells a different story. So for example, if you want to again look at the difference in the 3 elections, all right, let's start with 2012 again. In the western enclave at the coast, you have...
It was the Sekendi Takrady metropolitan area.
Was the only real place MPP was strong. NDC is all over here. So if you take western and even central parts, so generally all of this is green. The blue is just Sekendi Takrady, Mpok, Kwesi and its neighbors. And then everything else is green. Okay, again, 2016 tells you that it's not just a northern issue, it's also... So a lot of the greens here are gone. They are now blue. And then there's one more blue here. Now, what will make it even interesting, let me just use let me use the western region alone to prove this point to you. Okay. So let's take western region and let's take central region. I'm using the western coast.
The western coast.
All right. And then we go to 2012 to start this analysis. Now, so look at what's going on here.
So this is western region, central region, 2012 election.
Good. This is an election NDC won. And by the way, when you put those two regions together, it's a healthy 5% gap. All right? 80,000 margin. And the two regions together in that election were about 2.2 million voters. A careful look at this map tells you that it's a bit more green than blue, because apart from the Tekeni Takrady enclave, and then
the closest to
a
Ashanti.
strip, there's a strip here. You are right. These are the central, the Dintra, Asin strip.
Asin, yeah.
Okay, I can pick the constituency and tell you what it is. So you have Asin South, Asin Central, Himalawa Dintra,
Asin North,
Asin Central,
okay.
Asin North was on my NDC. Then you have the Dintra, constituency the Dintra and the Asin. Mind you, historically, Fante was separated from Asante
by
Asin and Dintra. So those overflows are quite typical. But this is, nevertheless, this is 2012. Okay, let me add Western to it. Okay, I'll add Western to it and I'll just show you. So for Central alone, very green. For Western as well, more green than blue. Yeah. Putting the two together, I'll come back to the two together. Okay. So this is 2012, right?
So you're taking us to 2016.
Yes, I'll just give me a minute. So I'm just giving you the two regions: Central region,
Western,
and Western region. Okay. So here are your. This is the
2012 picture.
Because what we are saying is that the first issue is that this is getting bluer, and even though in 2020 NDC clawed back, the blue is still strong there. Let's see whether it's the same picture here. Western. So when you put the two regions together, excluding Western North. This is the Western and Central without Western North. Let's see how it changes in 2016. So far, the green is more. Yes. The blue is pretty
sparse.
So 2016, look at that.
The blue is like a huge sweep.
The whole thing has become blue. Right? So all of Central.
Central has completely become.
There's just 1, 2, 3, 4.
It was not, NDC had only 3 constituencies in 2016.
For presidential. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I could mention the names. I don't want to distort the map, but I just want people to take a look at this. Let me go back to 2012. So the difference is very clear. So this is 2012.
It dissolves.
Keep your eye on all of this. The blues are just 1, 2,
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, let's say it's as a block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 constituencies are blue. And then there's some blues here.
Yeah.
When you come to 2016, MPP's best performance, the whole thing becomes blue. They keep this blue and they get one more blue here.
Even at the corner there.
Good. So Central region is critical in Ghana's elections.
It's a swing region.
Yes. And in 2016, it was a bloodbath. Now, again, go back to 2012. What did we have? 51% for the two regions put together for John Mahama, 46% for Akufo-Addo.
And that's an election he won. John Mahama won 50, and the difference was...
Yeah, he won 50.7. So these two regions did more for Mahama than the nation did. Because he got 50.7.
Yeah.
But when you take these two, he got 51.3. This didn't do that well for Akufo-Addo. But look at 2016. Look at the swing. 54 from 46. And he comes from 51 to 42.
11%.
So the story is these two people swung.
Let's see how they behaved in 2020. Because, so 2020, what happened to the two parties in these...
So 2020, your guess is, because NDC halved it, you would think that it becomes a lot
There'll be less blue.
Very strangely, some green did come back. Some green did come back, but the blue is still there.
It's still blue.
And in fact, let me even give you a historical situation here. So this is what we are saying. 2012, NDC 51, MPP 46. 2016, MPP goes to 54, so that's 8% gain. NDC comes down to 42, almost a 9% reduction. All right. Then in 2020, the 54 comes down to 51. NDC 42 goes to 46. So there's still work to do there for them. So 2020 is almost like the steady state of the average. All right? But the map is now, check it. If you did this for parliamentary, it's a different story. Because on parliamentary, almost all of this is green. So there's a major conversation around Central Region, how they voted.
Explain that using the numbers below for me. So
this is simple. So in 2012, the winner had 51%, that's NDC. 2016, the winner had 54%, that's MPP. And 2020, the winner had 51%, that's NDC.
So it's reversed. 2012 has become 2020.
Oh, I didn't even notice. Actually, you're right. So this is interesting. So yeah, wow.
And look, 2012 was 46-51.
Wow.
2020, 46-51.
Wow. So it tells you that when you put Central and Western together, the NDC still has some work to do to reclaim it. Okay. Now it also tells you how they behave in relation to the average, the national average.
Yeah.
They are very close to the national average, because again in 2020 national, this was almost the final result.
Yep.
So they are true bellwethers. All right. Very, very important. If you add Western North to this, it reduces a bit, but it doesn't change it that much.
Just add it, let's see.
Okay, let's see. So let's see.
Because it then tries to neutralize the blues.
Okay,
so Western North generally goes to...
So let's see how it does. So let me add... Let me add Western North, to this to see how it works.
So let's see whether I can neutralize.
Good. So when you add Western North, maybe let's start from 2012, so it makes a better case. So when you add Western North from 2012, so you notice that now, even though Western North has bigger spaces, the numbers are not that much. They are just 9 constituencies, right? But 2012, it was almost a 10% gap if you add Western North.
For NDC.
Yes. But if you do 2016...
Let's see how it dropped.
Yes. 2016, forgive me. 2016, you notice that MPP still wins. Yeah. So 2016, let me just move it up. It will go up a bit. MPP goes 52-44. Yeah. So 2016, the blue central, but Western North is still strongly.